What's going on, guys? I wanted to talk a little bit about credit scores and a little bit about down payments when it comes to getting the car of your dreams. I've got a 2019 Charger HELLCAT, and I was planning on getting a HELLCAT for a couple of years. Just need to get myself situated to where I was comfortable. You know, I want to make sure everything else was taken care of before I had something that wasn't a necessity. And this is more of a, well, I mean, it is a grocery getter. I do drive it in nicer weather, but take it on vacation, all that kind of good stuff. But you know, it's more of a reward for hard work. And you know, whether you're a diehard car guy or not, I've grown up a car guy all my life, so I really appreciate this thing. And if you want a car like this, you gotta do a little homework. You know, most people aren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth, don't have you know, just a huge bank account for no reason. You get money by working hard, or being lucky, or having a lot of savvy. And me, I think it was a little bit of everything, but mostly hard work, patience. You know, when you get money, it's easy just to spend all that money on anything else. But I'm in a point in my life where pretty much, you know, you've got all the furniture in your house, you've got everything you pretty much need. And I was just at the point in my life where it's like, you know what? Cool, I'm gonna get it. And fortunately, I have a wife that's she's behind it, so if I didn't, that'd suck. But anyway, as far as credit scores go, I had mine at a 720 when I got this, and I had a $5,000 down payment, and that's kind of what I went in there with, knowing that, you know, and being 42 years old, living in the same place for a while, about 16 years, I knew that I'd be able to walk in there and pretty much get what I was asking for. And that's what I did. So you got to do your homework. You can't just really walk in someplace. Well, you can. I mean, if you just walk in there with $10,000 and you have a 650 credit score, you might be able to do it. But for the most part, credit history, which is your credit score, is going to reflect that, and your down payment are the two biggest things. And I got some guys looking at me over here. What you want? But do your homework, you know, and make sure you're not cutting yourself short on everything else, all your other bills, your amenities. You know, make sure your kids have clothes on, make sure they're getting fed, and if everything else is taken care of, it should be like the last thing. I mean, you know, if you're going with just say like a scat pack or something, it's a little more practical, then go with that, you know. Payment's probably going to be a couple $100 less a month on a scat pack than what a HELLCAT is. And but at least minimum, I'd say, you know, 10% down. I think that they look like 20% down, but you know, September, October, November, December, those months of the year where they're kind of liquidating all the like last year, the 2019s. You know, I got this HELLCAT for after everything. I got it brand new for about $62,000 after taxes. I think it was like $67,000, and I thought that was great. I was looking for a used one, actually. Used HELLCAT. I was willing to drive, you know, 1,000 miles to get one, and it just worked out with the timing and everything that I got a much better deal than I was expecting on a new one. And I got the color I wanted. I love the B5 blue, and I found one that was only 2 hours away, and everything just worked out. But the main things are just do your homework and save up the money you need to save. Don't try to push something, you know. If you need to save up for 2 years to get one, just save up for 2 years and get one. If you want it bad enough, and there's always going to be things that come up that are like, that take your money, $1,000 here, $1,000 there, and you feel like you're getting setbacks, but keep at it. And you can make it work, Bottom line is, you're going to have to give up some things. You're going to have to give up your time. You're going to have to work more. You're going to have to give up, not buying some things that can wait. Or you can just wait longer to get the car that you want. If you want a nice car, whatever it is, if you're looking at whatever it is, anything that's, $40,000 and over, just say, and if you want it now, I'm sure that you can push it and scrounge up $5,000, $10,000 real quick, and just get it now. But so if you want it bad enough, don't just force it. Then you might be sorry, and you're going to regret having made that decision. I mean, your first few months will be great. You'll be driving the car of your dreams, but then you end up in a contract that you can't afford, and then you're going to be in a bad situation. And if you have other people involved, like a wife and kids, who are directly affected by your decision, then your wife's going to resent you having the car, and and you're going to resent making the decision that you did. So just wait an extra few months, wait an extra year if you have to, and do it the right way. Just trust me on this. I know you want one right now. You want it just, but it'll be worth it in the end. So anyhow, in addition to that, when you go, and if you're going to a car dealership and you know that you have a 620 credit score, or if you're anywhere near that, don't even try. Just wait. Take your time and really build that up. Create an account with like freecreditreport.com, or go on Credit Karma. Credit Karma, you're going to have a Vantage score. The Vantage scores aren't accurate. Dealerships go by FICO score, which is there's different kinds of FICO scores. There's certain kinds that you, like just for car dealerships, they go by. So even your FICO score, it's going to be close to what the dealership's going to pull, but you can pretty much go by your FICO score. You also get a free FICO score. Sometimes you can get details through some credit card companies. I know, like Discover or Chase, you might be able to get an actual FICO score, but you're not necessarily going to be able to see the details of your credit history and all of your accounts and things. So do your homework. Make sure you don't have any outstanding kind of judgments against you, or clean everything up first before you go in. Do your homework. If you get extra money, pay off all your cards as far as you can. If you can get down to 10%, that's great. They love to see that. So if you can even just scrounge up everything you have just to pay your credit cards down for a while and really boost your credit score up. I mean, you can raise your credit score if you really want to, like 100 points within a month. Back in the old days, they updated credit scores once a month, and I think they went to like about every 2 weeks, and now it's to the point where they're updating your credit score like consistently every week. It's really easy to boost that up quickly. So first thing, credit score. Next, just get a big chunk of a down payment any way you can, and make sure you can afford it. Smartest thing. Don't just fall in love with the first car you see and jump on it. And it is an emotional decision. So if you're weak-minded and you don't think that you could just go car shopping without them influencing you, I mean, that's their job, to influence you to go ahead and get a car right away. So they want you to stay there at that dealership and try to get you to buy that car. So if you're weak, and you go in there and you think you're just gonna be able to tell yourself no, sometimes they have the capabilities of working it out, and then you walk out there, paying $100 more a month than what you wanted to, and for an extra year than you wanted to. So when you go car shopping, make sure you know what you're looking for before you go. Make sure everything's done, your homework is done, and you know what to tell these guys. Like, you tell them what you're gonna do. You tell them what you're gonna get, and this is the interest rate I want, and if you don't, too bad, you're not getting a sale from me today. So you have to be like that. I know it's an emotional purchase, but in these times, you got to keep your emotions out of it. You gotta tell them, this is what I want. If you don't give it to me, then I'm going somewhere else. And if they can't do it for you, then they can't do it for you. You go somewhere else. And if you're willing to get the car that you want, you're probably going to be willing to go the distance to get it, as far as like the distance, like 100, 200, 300 miles, 1,000 miles. Because you're going to have, you're going to love this thing. You're going to take care of it. You're going to have it for a few years. You don't want to just take necessarily a color that you don't really like unless you have to. I mean, if you love red, you might be willing to take black, but sometimes if you love red so much, just wait for red. Don't just go with black just because it's on this car lot down the street. So one last thing I wanted to say about that is I would encourage anyone to go on VIP Financials on YouTube, and he's got a lot of good stuff on credit scores and what you can do to increase your score, and a lot of good little tips and tricks to use to bump it up. I mean, every point on your credit score counts. Unfortunately, we live in a society where credit scores count, but it is what it is, and use it to your advantage in this case. If you can use the banks or use credit scores to your advantage, do it. But check out all his videos. It's worth your investment of time to make yourself more aware of what's really going on out there, and what the banks are up to, what car dealerships are up to. So that's what I would advise. Also, if you're thinking about leasing, you're going to need a much higher credit score, so you're probably going to need around 740 or higher to go for a leasing, and which isn't a bad option necessarily if you only want a car for a year or two and then trade it in for something else. But for the most part, you'll be in for a 3-year lease, and sure, you might have lower payments and everything, but there's good sides to both. But like I said, do your homework. The trick of going into a dealership is already having your financing locked in before you even go in there. So with me, I had some other offers from like Capital One auto financing through having Capital One cards there. It was really easy to get them to approve a car loan from them. I also went on, I think it was lending.com, and they had some other, people are fighting for your business, in other words. So you can go in there with already showing what you want to do, what your down payment is going to be, what your interest rate they're offering you is. So at least you have that knowledge before you go in. So when they pull your credit that one time, I'm sure you already probably know that if you go to 5 different dealerships, you get your credit pulled 5 different times, that when someone else after that looks at your credit, it kind of counts as one. So they look at all of your car shopping as one credit pull. So don't be afraid to get pulled multiple times, but with regards to this one thing, as far as hurting your credit. So it's not really going to hurt your credit. It's not going to be pulled 5 times, 5 hard pulls that'll go against your credit that way. But just have that before you go into the dealership. Take it into the dealership, show them that you've already been approved, and then a lot of times the dealership will beat that whatever quote that you already had. The dealership's probably going to beat that because they want to get all the kickback and all the money from whoever they sell that loan to. So they're actually fighting for your business too. So, and that's what happened to me. I went in there with exactly what I wanted to know, and I had all the agreements with like Capital One that I was already comfortable with, that I wanted. Took it into the dealership, and they beat that by I think it might have been 1/4 of an interest point, which it may have been like $15 a month that they beat it by. But the dealership, they're able to get that a lot of times easier than what you can. But it's always best for you to have that in your pocket when you go in, saying, I already know what I want, this is how much I've been approved for, and that's the car that you're going to give me. So you have a lot of buying power that way, and then you don't have to mess with anything. You can be in and out of there and just sign the papers and leave. You don't have to deal with all the stupid salespeople and all the managers and all the games that they play going back and forth with you, and make you feel like you're just a thing. They're just using you like a piece of trash. And that's how you feel leaving there sometimes. You want to make this a pleasurable experience. You don't want to leave there feeling like a piece of trash and, and just happy you bought this car, but you feel dirty doing it. So anyway, that's just a tip I thought I'd throw in there that I think is really important.